All right, so what is DeepSeek and why did it just tank the entire market? Well, not the entire market, right? I don't want to say that. The bloodbath was definitely contained for the semiconductor sector. The energy sector was pretty bloody as well. And then networks, computer hardware, and all that stuff. But the rest of the market is actually pretty great. So it's definitely not a black swan event like the COVID crash was. Let's just jump right in. What the hell caused all this? So DeepSeek is, think of it like a ChatGPT competitor. It launched, they launched an app, a Chinese company launched this DeepSeek app, which is like a chatbot like ChatGPT, and it's actually really good and it's free. And that is why it shot up to the #1 top free app in the App Store, which is kind of surprising, right? That's what caught everybody off guard. But it's not the app that caused this mayhem. It's the claim behind the app. And that's what's important here. And that's what's super interesting. And everybody on Twitter and all platforms is just trying to find out if this claim is true. And if it is, what does that mean for Nvidia? Because as we saw today was crazy. $600 billion was wiped from Nvidia's market cap, which is kind of scary. So this was my favorite meme of the day. The memes today were crazy, but let's not get too tied up into that. All right, so here is, before I get into all the interesting stuff, right, I want to explain to you what this claim is, what it means. The metaphor I like to use is pretend like a Chinese company or any company came out and said, hey, we were able to tweak the software to make Bitcoin mining rigs way more efficient. So instead of using $90,000 of electricity to mine one Bitcoin, we figured out how to use only $1,000 to mine one Bitcoin. So then that begs the question, what does that do for the hardware mining rigs that are mining Bitcoin? Does that make them more valuable or does that make them way less valuable? So that is the big question mark here. And hence, again, why Nvidia dumped. DeepSeek, right, this Chinese app, claimed that to train this model, right? Because all the AI tools that you use, whether it's GPT, whether it's Grok, any image generation tools you use, that's the end product, right? But that end product took a lot of training to make it smart enough to do the tasks that you use it for. And that training is very cost and power intensive. A lot of money is spent on GPUs to train AI models. That is why Nvidia has had a crazy historic run the last 2 years, right? All their their GPU products just like sold out, crazy demand. People can't get enough of them because everybody's trying to train AIs, right? It's the AI arms race and the demand is crazy, crazy hot. But if DeepSeek actually was able to train their model, which is rivaling ChatGPT for just $6 million like they claim, that's kind of depends how you look at it, if it's scary or not. But that could definitely shift things because all the hyperscalers with Microsoft, Amazon, Google, they're dropping tens, hundreds of billions of dollars per year to train AI models, right? And it's not just training, right? There's inference, et cetera, but training is the most compute intensive. So did this just like change up the game? Well, that's if they're telling the truth, right? That's like the first thing that nobody can really verify yet. There's a lot of theories out there. My conspiracy theory on X accidentally went viral today. If 4,000 likes is viral, it's viral to me. But this was kind of like a shit post. I didn't mean it literally, but it seems a lot of people are also on the skeptical side of things. So I said, this is how China is playing S-tier chess. Spend billions of dollars to make a good AI model, DeepSeek. Tell the West it only costs $6 million to train. Open a short on Nvidia, cause panic and profit, and then use those funds to actually buy more GPUs, which is successful. Like that panic and profit, I don't want to say that they're profiting. We don't know if they shorted Nvidia or not. But the panic is definitely here. Nvidia down 17%, which is, super damn near unheard of. I don't know if that's a new record for the most market cap shed in a single day, but it might be. Right. So now there's like two sides, the skeptics and then people that are believing this is a new paradigm shift in AI. And until that is figured out, the semiconductor market probably won't recover. But I do think today was a super crazy day filled with a lot of emotion. And when there's a lot of emotion, things tend to get like overshot, whether it's the downside or the upside. And I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like 17% down on Nvidia today alone might have been an overreaction, especially without this being like a verified fact. What's weird about this whole thing is that this was known over a month ago. An ex-Tesla engineer, Andrej Karpathy, made this tweet December 2026, which is well over a month ago now, saying the exact same things that everybody's talking about today, right? He was just praising DeepSeek for being such a good model, trained on a joke budget of $6 million over the course of 2 months. And on top of that, they used dated, I think 2-year-old Nvidia GPU. So not even the modern ones, because China can't get the modern ones. The US has export controls on Nvidia saying you can't sell China the newest powerful models of your GPUs. So that's also another factor because this person said, let me see if you guys can hear this. Should be able to.
Than people think,
and these are the highest powered Nvidia chips that they were not supposed to have.
Yes. My understanding is that DeepSeek has about 50,000 H100s, which they can't talk about, obviously, because it is against the export controls that the United States has put in place.
So essentially, they're not supposed to have the new NVIDIA GPUs, right? China. Now, can they get them through other countries? Singapore, bring them in? Sure, like anything's possible. It's like saying a criminal can't buy guns. If they want to get their hands on them, they can. So there's a lot of smarter people than me saying that they don't believe it. And I actually looked into it a bit more, and I found that on Wikipedia, by the way, this is a Wikipedia page on DeepSeek. This segment right here kind of caught my attention. The estimates are that Liang had built up a store of over 10,000 to 50,000 NVIDIA A100 GPUs before the US government imposed an AI chip restriction on China. Some estimates put the number as high as 50,000. So this is why I'm confused, because they definitely have tens of thousands of AI chips. So if you total these, I think it's like in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So I just don't understand where the 6 million figure would come from. Like, are they over exaggerating that greatly to maybe position themselves in the eyes of the world that they're the leader in AI? It's very possible, right? End of the day, it's China, which is why I tend to not really believe it. I'm kind of going against the crowd here because a lot of people are just blindly, taking this as a fact. I also personally, I'm not going to install a Chinese AI app on my phone. So as soon as something's free, people go crazy and they eat it up, right? So there's a lot of clouded judgment on the intentions behind this claim. So this is the claim. Now that this is the claim that's shaking up the entire semiconductor space. It's not so much that this app is so good that everything else is selling off. That doesn't make sense, right? Nvidia wouldn't sell off. The reason Nvidia sold off and other related stocks is because if this is a paradigm shift where AI models can be trained on such a cheaper budget, then that would mean everybody, Microsoft, Meta, XAI, all these big companies would scale back once they figure out how to do it as well and not order so much from Nvidia, right? That's the narrative right now, at least today. It can change tomorrow for sure. Another weird thing I don't understand about all this is that DeepSeek made their code open source, meaning it's public. Anybody can replicate it, build on top of it. So if you're China, right, if you're a Chinese company, why would you have a breakthrough that even America doesn't have? The breakthrough being a huge cost reduction on AI training, and then you share that breakthrough for free with the entire world. It just to me, it doesn't make sense. Here's another really, really weird part of the lore of all this, specifically the DeepSeek company. So the parent company of DeepSeek is actually a Chinese hedge fund. I found this out after I made this post. Going back to my theory of them potentially shorting Nvidia after announcing or claiming that it only cost them 6 million. This is some crazy breakthrough. It may be possible. The fact that their parent company is a huge hedge fund, that kind of raises some red flags potentially. And the hedge fund was pretty sizable, over $7 billion in management. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to think, but looking at the bloodbath today on the semiconductor stocks, and here is a list from my group, 444 Capital, that I made. And these are data center and AI related stocks. I have energy and other tabs that are related to this. If you want to unlock those, feel free to join us in the group. Try us out for a month. No hard feelings if you don't like it, but we just have so much resources. It's hard not to. And as you can see today, everything was red. Everything was red, and most of it was in the double digits. So it's not just Nvidia. It's everything related to what goes into a data center, whether it's power, whether it's networking, whether it's process controls and chip testing, even the data center real estate investment trust, HBM, memory, everything was red because now there was this huge panic that hit the market today. Is Nvidia greatly overvalued after this paradigm shift? Is the paradigm shift breakthrough actually real? What the hell's going on? And usually in that panic, when there's panic at such high emotional levels, there tends to be opportunities. So today, personally, I had to do something. I picked up some call options on Micron, which is a stock I already owned. Data center cooling companies down 30%, literally all of them on here, all down 25 to 30%. Insane. Even Nancy Pelosi didn't see this coming. Holy shit. She had picked up Vistra Energy, this one right here, and that was down 30% today. So discounts across the board if this claim doesn't hold up. Now, if it does, I don't know what happens. Again, in that Bitcoin mining metaphor, I would feel like the hardware would get more in demand. I don't know if it would get more valuable, but the demand would rise because if you can mine a Bitcoin for much cheaper, that doesn't make the mining rig valueless. It means more people are going to be able to mine Bitcoin because they can afford it. Now, I can buy one of those rigs and my neighbor and everybody else can buy these rigs, and all these big companies are going to want to buy as many rigs because they can get more Bitcoin, right, for a cheaper price. So I feel like the market will level out the demand and supply. So regarding Nvidia, I'm just not sure that even if this were to be true, that Nvidia's GPUs, their demand is going to fall. I feel like everybody's still right. We don't have artificial general intelligence, and that is the main goal for all the hyperscalers, all the big players. They want AGI. AI isn't like solved magically. There's still a ways to go. So because the finish line is not in sight still, I don't see how the demand is going to quickly vanish. So that's kind of my like initial take on the whole matter. Another thing regarding Nvidia's moat, I had somebody in my replies bring up a really good point that Nvidia's moat in AI chips is incredibly hard to replicate. Their software ecosystem is the real fortress. Trust me, I've analyzed semis for over 20 years. Tech supremacy isn't built overnight. Fundamentals remain stellar. That's another thing. I feel like everybody knows Nvidia on a surface level, or at least most people, especially retail traders, and they see it as just like this company that makes these hardware GPUs and sells them. But I did a little bit of digging myself, and their software is really a fortress like you described. Like the switching costs of a company that uses NVIDIA GPUs, because it's not like they just buy the GPUs and that's it, right? No, they have to use NVIDIA's software to run them, make them efficient, integrate them. And NVIDIA supplies that to them as well. It's software as well as hardware, right? And I don't think most people know that. So the short answer for me is I don't think NVIDIA has lost its moat, even if this claim ends up being true. Now, will the market agree with me? Who knows? I don't even think the market knows what it's agreeing with. I mean, today was just day one of this DeepSeek drama. So we have a whole week to go. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have the whole entire week. On top of that, we are in earnings season. In the next 2 weeks, we have the entire Mag 7, Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, all reporting, and Tesla, all reporting earnings. So man, I feel like we are in for a ride this next 2 weeks in the stock market. If you're an Nvidia investor, should you hold, should you sell, should you buy? Personally, not financial advice, I would mark it as a hold if you're already in it. I do not own any Nvidia stock myself, but if this continues to a silly, overshot extent, then I might become an Nvidia holder. I'm going to leave you guys on this Howard Marks quote that I really like that relates to today's craziness and emotional market. For some reason, because of the way investor psychology works, people switch from only seeing the good to only seeing the bad. And that is why cycles really exist. So is this the top of the AI cycle? I personally don't think so, but only time will tell. And the next 2 to 4 weeks in the market is going to be very telling. So stay tuned and I'll see you guys in the next video.